All right. Good morning, everyone. Hello, kid. How we doing? Good. All right, awesome. I'm a proud father of 3 Ellicott and now Orchard Park High School grads as well, because I'm getting old. But it's a great building, isn't it? Yeah. Billy Buffalo here. There we go. Awesome. Well, good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Dave Lillick, and I'm proud to serve as superintendent of schools for Orchard Park. One of the greatest privileges of serving as your superintendent is seeing our strategic work move from page to the real world. Today, we celebrate a partnership that speaks directly to 2 of our deepest commitments: family and community engagement and positive climate and culture, which includes our commitment to safety and emergency preparedness. In school districts, we often talk about culture as a feeling, but culture is also a promise. It's the promise that when you send your child to our schools or join us at our events, you are in a place that is safe, supportive, and fully prepared. And we all remember that night 3 years ago. Most of the nation watched in silence as Damar Hamlin suffered cardiac arrest on the field. It was a moment that reminded us how fragile life is, but also how vital a split-second medical response can be. Out of that moment, an idea was born. Leaders at UB, led by Dr. Les Bassan, turned that experience into action, training 27,000 people in CPR and AED use to date. Think about that number, 27,000 people trained since that date. And today, we recognize the vital role our district has played in this mission of regional readiness. Beyond training, this initiative grew to an idea of knowledge, that knowledge is key when preparing for emergencies. The knowledge that this initiative looked to develop was locating and finding and then documenting where AEDs were located in communities, as this information is vital when every second matters. This initiative found its home here because of our community ties. I want to be very clear that I am speaking today merely as a representative of the district. I take no personal credit for the success of this program, and none of the thanks shared today belong to me. My role simply was putting the right people together and saying yes to Jill, which is easy to do because then she'll run with it, and Mary Claire as well. So the heavy lifting, the vision, and the hard work belong entirely to the people I'm about to recognize. So again, I'm so thankful to one of our amazing parents, Dr. Jill Cizak from the UB Office of Health Sciences, who brought this vision to us. When she approached us, it was an absolute no-brainer. The project aligns perfectly with our district pillars. By prioritizing engagement between our students and our community, both near and far, we are doing more than just talking about safety. We are actively building a culture of readiness. This partnership turns those pillars into a strong focus for our students, ensuring that they are prepared to support the well-being of the entire community. In collaboration with the Buffalo Bills and the UB team, we launched a pilot competition where our students became community loggers. Our students spent the last few months identifying and cataloging AED locations, and the results are staggering. Our students identified over 2,500 AED locations. This wasn't just a local search. Our loggers tracked devices from right here in Orchard Park to Hawaii, Alaska, and as far away as Italy, Hong Kong, and Thailand. I would like to go on some of the trips with you folks as well. Again, choosing to pilot this program here was a natural fit. We believe in the vigilance of this community. We have seen the life-saving moments. Don't wait for a convenient time. By being the first to pilot this, we are proving that our schools are the engine for a safer, more resilient region. I especially want to highlight our elementary students, many of you right here from Ellicott, who truly led the charge in this effort. We are not just educating students, we are cultivating citizens who are ready to respond in a crisis and act when it matters most. The true credit for this success goes to our incredible staff who mobilized our students. First, I want to thank Mary Claire, our health and wellness teacher from right here at Ellicott Elementary, for her incredible work helping organize this for our district. Our health and wellness teacher from South Davis, Julie Rupp. Jackie Strozik from Eggert, David Canfield from Windham, and Chad Filipski, our traveler who works both at Windham and Ellicott. Thank you. Thank you for your work with mobilizing our students and getting the word out. Also, again, thank you to our colleagues from the University of Buffalo, the Buffalo Bills organization, specifically Michelle Roberts, who is also a parent of Ellicott graduates, and I've had the privilege of knowing for most of our adult lives as our sons graduated together a couple years ago. And the Buffalo Bills provided the incentives that fueled this charge. Most importantly, I want to thank you, our students, and our families. Thank you for your continued trust and for your engagement in our work. By working together, we are reinforcing a culture of care and readiness that extends far beyond the classroom and helps keep our entire community safe. So thank you. And at this point, I'd like to welcome up Mary Claire.
Hello, everybody. Half of you I'm used to talking to, and the rest I'm not. So I am Mary Claire Vivian, the health and wellness teacher here at Ellicott. I've been here at Ellicott for 29 years, but I've been health and wellness since the position started in Orchard Park 5 years ago. And Julie Rupp is my health and wellness colleague at South Davis. I can speak for the two of us when I say that we became a little bit obsessed with AEDs over the past couple months, both in teaching our students, but also in finding them for ourselves. So this project was introduced to me by Dr. Jill Cizak, and after first seeing her in action as the PTO mom behind Ellicott's very successful science night, I knew that Dr. Cizak was someone with great ideas who also knew how to make them happen. So when she approached me about bringing this AED mapping project to Orchard Park, I was immediately excited. It connected so naturally with the work I'd already been doing with the help of my friend, Dr. Heidi Suffoletto. Through Dr. Suffoletto's passion for the subject and her strong community connections, I had already received a free CPR kit to use with my 4th and 5th graders, and she had generously lent me her own AED trainer for use with all of my classes. The donation of this kit has allowed all 4 elementary schools, Julie's included, plus middle school 6th graders, to learn and practice hands-only CPR in the classroom. So I truly believe that being exposed to these life-saving methods at a young age helps take away some of the fear that naturally comes with emergencies. Instead of seeing AEDs and CPR as something scary or something that only adults do, kids start to see them as normal tools that can help to save someone's life. The more you talk about it, practice it, and spot AEDs in everyday places, the more comfortable and confident you become. Over time, these skills stop feeling intimidating and start feeling like something you could actually do. Especially if someone ever needed help. Our hope is that by starting these conversations early, students grow up feeling more prepared to step in, stay calm, and help instead of freezing in a scary situation. I'm going to date myself a tiny bit. I've told this story to the students before, but when I was their age, 911, teaching kids to call 911 was the big push. And I remember learning about it in schools, and it seemed like something that, adults are going to handle that. But in the summer between 5th grade and 6th grade, I was walking my sister around the block, and one of we called them the little old ladies, I was having a conversation with her, and she collapsed on the stroller that I was pushing with my sister. And her 2 little sisters, they were shorter than I am now. Her sisters were out there and didn't know what to do when their sister collapsed, and they were panicking. And I had learned about calling 911 in 4th and 5th grade, and I said, we have to call 911. And I went into the house with one of those women, and we called 911, and the emergency personnel got there right away. That was tremendously scary for 5th grade me. But over the years, I have called 911 for major things and minor things, and it's something that I no longer have any concern about doing, whereas when I was little, I always thought, ooh, that's big and scary. So basically, I'm hoping that in the way that I felt desensitized to the fear of calling 911, we can do the same for these kids with using AEDs and doing hands-only CPR. So, furthermore, just this winter, our health and wellness classes were tasked with fulfilling New York State's mandate to teach sudden cardiac arrest. And this was across all grade levels. And the timing of that could not have possibly been better. So teaching students to recognize and locate AEDs in the community became the perfect extension of the learning already happening in our classrooms. More importantly, it gave students a meaningful way to connect their learning to the real world. And to the real world impact that AEDs can have, not just within our school community, but throughout the greater community as well. So we are, as our superintendent, Mr. Lilick, said earlier, we're thrilled to announce that the students and staff of Orchard Park found over, well, I think the total's actually greater. I keep having the sheets trickle into my mailbox, so I can see that that will get larger. I'm not telling anyone they're late because anything that they find is going to be wonderful for us. While the number of AEDs officially recorded is impressive on its own, I think the impact is far beyond that final count. Through the 4 weeks of the contest, students came to class excitedly reporting AEDs that they had spotted in stores and gyms and rest stops and businesses all over the area. These devices stopped blending into the background and became something that students actively noticed everywhere they went. So, students shared stories about educating car dealership employees, as well as the people working at Tops and the welcome desk at the Y, about how AEDs can save lives and why it is so important to know where they're located. Many told me that employees actually thanked them for pointing these life-saving devices out, that they didn't even realize that they were there. And I feel like that right there is another layer of the incredible importance of this project. So we weren't just finding AEDs in our local community, though. Kids found them on Disney cruises, at the Khao Phrabang Kram Nature Reserve in Thailand, in airports in England and Italy, and at the White House Visitor Center. One that I loved, one kid actually researched where to find the AED on the Artemis II, which is pretty cool. So these next few slides were pretty exciting for me to see. First of all, just all the places in New York. You can just see, well, there's a ton, and the stars are so, it's fun to see them in a picture display. I already knew how many we had when I was looking at all the lists coming in, but to see this I thought was pretty cool. And we're in the US. You can see a lot of the East Coast, but we went all the way to the West. And here we have them in the world, and there are stars all over, which is so cool. I'll go back to that one. So in the end, the AED mapping project became so much more than a contest. It gave students the chance to see that they're capable of making a real impact on the world around them. They learned that life-saving knowledge is not just for doctors or nurses or adults. It's something that they can carry with them and share with others. Students were not only learning to recognize AEDs, they were teaching others to notice them too. And this ripple effect may one day save a life, and that's exactly what made this project so meaningful. Thank you.
Guess it's me. I'm up. Come on up. I got my water because I get choked up sometimes. So that's me with my wife, Julie. And I've already started. She's alive because someone used an AED. So that makes me a co-survivor. She's a survivor, but that makes me a co-survivor, which is incredible. So what happened? She's at our local high school, and she's doing volunteer work, and she's chatting with a friend after doing the work and right on the sidewalk outside. And she's talking with her friend. She feels faint, and Julie just collapses. No warning. It just happens immediately. So what did happen is her friend that she was talking to took action, and this is the most important thing that you guys can do. Is if someone has fallen and they're not breathing, number one, call 911. Number two, start CPR. Number three, get the AED. So those are the 3 steps. So with Julie, 911 was called immediately. Within 90 seconds, she's getting CPR. And within 2 minutes, she gets the first of 2 shocks. So the brain starts to die in about 3 minutes, give or take. But that's why it's essential to start CPR, to keep the blood circulating through the body and keeping your brain alive. So she had a great outcome. She survived. She's part of the 10% club that survived, which is still amazing. So now I understand the importance of knowing where the AED is, because the AED is the only thing that will restart the heart. Doing compressions, you're just buying minutes until the AED can come, whether it can be found or the ambulance arrives with the paramedics with the AED. So now I understand the importance of knowing where the AED is. So what I did, I was sitting in my office after she got out of the hospital and everything was great. I was like, why is it that I can look to my phone and say, hey Google, hey Siri, where's the closest Tim Hortons?
and it immediately pops up. And I'm like, why can't I do that with an AED? That one simple little thing started this whole action that we've been working on for about 3 years now. So since that, we've had conversations with Google Maps to help make that happen. So you can say, hey, Google, hey, Siri, where's the closest AED? And it just pops up. So that's still in the works. But what we're doing in parallel is every AED that we map, that is mapped, is connected to the local 911 system. So that if someone has a cardiac arrest on a sidewalk, like you were describing earlier, or if you want, the 911 operator will say, ambulance is on the way. Number 2, have someone there with you, start CPR. Number 3, go get someone to get the AED that's located at the front desk behind, in the building you're next to. That will take, let's say, 90 seconds. That's a life saved, because sometimes it takes 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes for an ambulance to get there. So that's the difference between life and death, and that's why mapping AEDs literally save lives. This project with us started in Buffalo, New York. So we're from the Dallas area. I live in Dallas. We live in Dallas. And this started because my cousin there, because of the UP people here, because of Dr. Les Bassan here. Just rock stars. So they saw what we were talking about. And someone said earlier, it's a no-brainer. It is a no-brainer to map AEDs because it will save lives. And it's actually a really simple thing to do. So since we've been in Buffalo, we have now gone to Boston and we're going to Lexington next. However, we just are signing a contract to go national. And we've got we'll have a national presence immediately with a big project that we're working on right now. So thank you for everyone for coming. Congratulations, kids. Give yourself a hand. Yeah. And I'm sure you now feel more confident. So you see an AED, now you know. Did you guys know what an AED was before you started this whole thing? And I see a lot of this. Now you know what it is, and don't be afraid. Don't ever be afraid of it. Pull it out, take it out. We had actually, when she had her cardiac arrest, we had 15-year-old twin girls who were students there, actually got the AED, opened it up, set it up for the first response, for the coach and the athletic director to put on my wife, on her when she had her cardiac arrest. So it's because of students like you why she's here. So I am so proud of you guys. Let's keep it going. Thanks.
Let's go.
All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Stephanie Hall. I'm the principal here at Ellicott Elementary. And look at all of these AED superstars in one room. This is truly exciting. Before we jump into celebrating our incredible students, we want to take one more moment to say thank you. Thank you to Dr. Les Bassan for his leadership and vision. What began here has become a pilot that schools across New York State and even across the country can learn from. That's a big deal, and it starts with the belief in students just like all of you. Here in Buffalo, we lead in many ways, and today is another great example of what happens when innovation, teamwork, and community come together. This project also reflects Governor Hochul's commitment to safer communities. And what makes this so special is that you, our AED superstars, didn't just learn about safety, you acted on it. I'd also like to recognize Dr. Zuffaletto, an Orchard Park mom and strong supporter of this work. Her dedication and expertise helped guide this effort forward. Thank you. Now, are you ready for something amazing? Boys and girls, this is for you. Our AED superstars didn't just do a good job. You did a great job. You identified more AEDs than the University at Buffalo medical students. I think you should clap for yourself. Right, Kaylin? That is certainly impressive at any age. As Mrs. Vivian shared, our total is more than 2,500 AEDs the students of Orchard Park have located. You should give yourselves another round of applause. That means more people knowing where to go in an emergency. That means safer schools and safer neighborhoods. And that means lives that could one day be saved because of all of you. I'm so excited to be here today, and we do have a special visitor, Billy Buffalo. How cool is that? So a huge thank you to the Buffalo Bills organization for being such a wonderful partner in this endeavor. This has truly been a community-wide effort. Now it's time for probably your favorite part of the day. We will be acknowledging some of our AED superstars. So when I say your name, you're going to be able to come up. Let's start with a student who truly went above and beyond. Finley, you can come on down. Finley is a first grader here, and she identified an unbelievable 111 AEDs, the most in our entire district. That's for you, Finley. Congratulations, ma'am. Great work, girl. Did you give Billy Buffalo a high five? Oh, yeah, okay. Finley is in first grade. That is incredible. Next, moving on, let's recognize Jack Tultley, whose careful documentation and creative maps, even while on a Disney cruise, his sheet was up there, helped elevate this entire project. This is next level dedication. Come on down, Jack.
It looks like you're getting an autographed cleat, sir. Pretty cool.
All right, now we have a pair of siblings, and we're going to think globally. Ashton and Brindley Ratham, come on down. They turned family travel into a mission, finding AEDs in Hong Kong and Thailand. That's taking this project around the world. Congratulations. Thank you for your help. We also want to acknowledge one of our youngest AED superstars. We had a minute to talk, and she told me she was on vacation in Nashville at the zoo. Miss Olivia Ball, come on down. She was our only pre-K participant, and Olivia found 28 AEDs and showed us that you're never too young to make a difference. Thank you, Olivia. Now thinking about teamwork, and I will ask you all to stay in your seats so we will acknowledge and get your prize to your classroom. But the Birmingham class demonstrated the power of working together, achieving the highest participation rate and identifying 242 AEDs. An excellent team effort. Let's give them all a round of applause. And finally, a family full of AED superstars. The Rupp family brought passion, teamwork, and a little friendly competition to this effort, identifying an incredible 809 AEDs altogether. With Mrs. Rupp's role in health and wellness at South Davis, this achievement comes full circle in the most meaningful way. Thank you, Mrs. Rupp and family. Today is about students who didn't just learn something, they used what they learned to help others. You learned that knowing where an AED is can save a life. And instead of keeping that information to yourselves, you made it visible for our schools, your families, and your communities. Thank you to the teachers, administrators, staff, and families who supported this work and made life-saving education a priority. This initiative is part of a broader partnership focused on CPR and AED awareness, including colleagues across the Jacobs School of Medicine and Biomedical Sciences, our Department of Emergency Medicine and Orthopedics, and UBMD Emergency Medicine and Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. It is now my honor to introduce Dr. Les Bisson, who works at UB and cares deeply about helping people learn how to save lives with CPR and AEDs. Because of him, more communities are ready to help when it matters most. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Les Bisson.
Thanks, everybody. This is, it's amazing to hear this, and it's amazing to look and see you all sitting here, and probably a nice way to spend a morning rather than in class, I would guess, probably, right? Yeah. If I were back in your shoes, I think I'd be enjoying this. So I'll try to take as long as possible. And we'll see if we can make this go right up until like lunchtime. So I'm here as a representative, really, of a lot of other people, the University of Buffalo and our CPR and AED outreach team. And our focus has been to provide access to CPR training and also rapid AED availability in all communities across Western New York to increase survival following out-of-hospital cardiac arrest. First of all, congratulations to the winners and really to every participant in this contest, because listening to this, it's just absolutely amazing. This contest has focused attention on CPR and AED use to treat out-of-hospital cardiac arrest. That in and of itself is going to save lives. So you all have done something that's going to save lives, I guarantee it. Right now, only 10% of people survive a cardiac arrest when CPR is not quickly applied. If you do CPR, you can increase survival to about 20 to 30%. And if there's rapid AED access, survival can approach 60 to 70%. Unfortunately, not everybody have the same access, not all the communities have the same access to CPR training and AEDs, and our team's mission has been to close that gap. There's a lot of people and groups that we owe some thanks to, first of all, for the contest, thanks to the Orchard Park School District, Superintendent Lilick, Jill Cezak, the Buffalo Bills, and everyone across the community who supported the kids in these events and their parents as well. You all have been amazing. So again, like lots of clapping for you, because you did a phenomenal job. I want to thank some groups and some people who have supported our work to decrease the gaps in CPR and AED training. So those are partners, including the Buffalo Black Nurses, UBMD Emergency Medicine, the American Heart Association, the Buffalo Bills, the Erie County Department of Health, and the UB Jacobs School. Thanks to all of those groups for just being outstanding, amazing partners. Thanks also to those who have funded our outreach through grants, including the University of Buffalo, who gave us our first grant, the Mother Cabrini Foundation, the Ralph Wilson Jr. Foundation, Mary Wilson, the Bauer Foundation, the NFL, and the Buffalo Bills. They have been amazing, amazing partners. Our outreach, our program started with the DMAR effect that everybody knows and that we've spoken about, and the increased attention paid to CPR after DMAR's event. Contests like this build on that work coming out of Buffalo, originating in Buffalo, and hopefully spreading across New York and spreading across the United States. We're educating younger and younger people on the critical need for hands-only CPR training and rapid access to AEDs. When we do community events, often some of the most engaged participants are elementary students, and you all are empowered to do things that will really make a huge difference as you go on through life, and I admire that. I hope that contests like this become a model for similar ones across our state and across our nation. We're going to stay committed to identifying AED deserts and making CPR training and AED access available to all communities across Western New York. So thank you for your commitment to this, and congratulations to everybody. So I think the next thing is that there's an opportunity for people to ask some questions if they want to. I'm one of the Buffalo Bills doctors. I can't tell you about any individual patient, so don't ask me about some guy's foot or knee or something like that. But there's an opportunity for some questions and answers. And I was one of the guys that ran onto the field and helped with DMAR's CPR when that happened, that everybody was watching on Monday Night Football. So fire away. Yes?
Was it scary when you went on and saved him?
Well, It can be, but here's what happens when you think about these things and you kind of practice it beforehand, like you all are doing. So you probably know where AEDs are around here. You get a little nervous afterwards, but when you think about it beforehand, so one of the things that we do in the NFL is we practice rescuing people. We put football equipment on mannequins and have them lay in different places and pretend like they have a cardiac arrest or that they've hurt their back. And you see us put them on. Sometimes they go onto a cart and they'll ride off the field, or sometimes you've probably seen we have to put a person on a stretcher. We practice those things beforehand. So even when there's a bunch of people watching on TV and it's, the NFL and everything else, we're not really nervous then because we've done it before. Just like this will help you or anybody that you work with to not be nervous if something like that happens. Afterwards, when you think about it, you're like, wow, a lot of people watch that. Maybe you get a little bit nervous, but when you're really doing it, you're really not too nervous. So this helps with that. Oh boy, I'm gonna need, yes. Yep.
How fast did you get to tomorrow?
Within about 30 seconds. It was actually even a little bit faster than that because people don't know this very much, but there's a bunch of doctors at NFL games and trainers and emergency medicine people. Dr. Suffoletto is one of the people that's there as well. So she's, she helps with that when it happens at the Bills Stadium. She'll be there at the new stadium. So we're kind of ready for that. So if something like that happens, we just run out there right away, which, doesn't happen quite as fast in the community. But if you see somebody collapse and they're not responsive, run and help them. You know how to do it now, and you all have been amazing that way. I got to give this room a turn. Yes.
What if when you call 911 that the ambulance was didn't show up as fast and it took a while because that's happened to me.
Yes, and they run into real problems, right? Ambulances do. That's why it's super important. We call it the chain of survival. So all these little things that should happen before paramedics and an ambulance get there, that's where you all come in. That's where you become very, very helpful. So you call 911, but then start pushing hard and fast on the center of the chest and send somebody for an AED, because it may take 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 minutes. The ambulances run into traffic. Sometimes you see ambulances driving around. They're not going 100 miles an hour. They're going through an intersection. They have to weave their way there. They're getting there as fast as they can, but you can help that person to survive and survive healthy by just doing those simple things. Yes?
What happened if someone collapsed and no one was around them?
Well, sometimes they live, sometimes their heart turns back on, but about 90% of the time they don't make it. So they pass away. And that's where we can make a difference. If you ever see anything like that happen, then you just rush to help and direct people around because you know what you got to do. Yes?
Do you know if all of the instructions are in English or is that in Japanese?
They're pretty much in English, and that's a really good question. And maybe I could ask Dr. Suffoletto about that. But my understanding is that most of the AEDs, when you turn them on, they're going to talk to you in English. So that would be a little bit problematic. I'm going to go in about 2 weeks. I'm going to go take a trip with my family to Japan. And I would guess that the AEDs there probably aren't in English. So if I turned one on, I can tell you I'm not going to understand anything that they're saying. Yes?
Have you ever tried to save someone but not been able to?
Unfortunately, that happens, and I'm a doctor, and one of the things that we do is we train in a lot of different circumstances. We work in emergency rooms and that, and I'm sure Dr. Suffoletto can tell you about many instances as well, where even with us trying our hardest, sometimes a person passes away anyways, and it's unfortunate, and we're trying to avoid that. The important thing is that some of the things that you do can change that. And think about that ability to save someone's life. That's really kind of a cool thing. And we've all been involved in saving somebody's life. And I'll tell you, it's a thing that you walk around with and you're very proud of afterwards. And you realize, boy, I made a big difference there.
Dr. Bassan, can you tell us, so I think you train, 32,000 people now, or maybe more than that? 34,000? Okay. Where do you train them? How are you finding these people?
Well, there's two main things that we do. One is really, really powerful, which is we have the opportunity to go into a lot of schools And that's what we call sort of a structured event. Hey, everybody, come on over here at this time. We're going to teach you all CPR. And everybody understands that they're going to do CPR right then. But another very, very powerful way that we've trained a lot of people, around 80% of that 34,000 that we've trained are at what we call fluid events, where we show up at something. We've trained people at Buffalo Bills games. We've trained people at Bandits games. We have trained people at a lot of community events. We go to Juneteenth. We go to a lot of different festivals where people are there. There's a big series of Say Yes Academies in the Buffalo Public Schools as well. Somebody's coming to this event anyways, whatever it is, and we set up some tables and we've got a bunch of instructors that say, hey, you know what? How would you like to learn CPR? You can learn it in 10 minutes. It's really simple, right? You all know. Call 911, push hard and fast in the center of the chest, send somebody for an AED, and when it gets there, turn it on and it'll tell you what to do. It's that simple, but practicing that and hearing that again and again and again, then it starts to get easy. And then you're not really so nervous if it happens. Then boy, this is a confusing situation. What happens? This person, I can't wake them up. Wait a second. I know what to do. We've talked about that a lot, so we can do it. Yes?
How many lives have you saved?
You know, I don't know for sure. It's definitely, I don't want to say it's been 1,000. Sometimes you can't tell, right? I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I'm a sports medicine guy. So now with most of the stuff that I do, I don't save a lot of lives. I save a lot of shoulders. I save a lot of knees. Those are important to people too. Dr. Cefallato, I bet, has saved way more lives than I have. She works in an emergency room and does that as her regular activity. Dr. Cefallato, how many lives do you think you've saved?
I don't know.
Hundreds? Thousands?
You know, is by learning this and even by talking about it, you guys are saving lives, right? And a lot of the lives that I do save, we had one last week and it was awesome because the first question that I ask every time the ambulance gets there is, when did it happen? Did somebody see it and did they start CPR? And really the community heroes are you guys, or the other people that are doing this even more than me, because I wouldn't get a chance to do my job if you weren't all doing this.
One or two more questions. Perfect.
Oh boy, one of our contest winners. All right.
When did you start saving?
The very first time was in medical school. So I remember being a medical student and I was on a rotation in the emergency room. The medical students go work in a whole bunch of different places. And I was in an emergency room as a medical student, like Dr. Cefallato works all the time. And that was in Baltimore. I was at Johns Hopkins Hospital working there. And I remember they were doing a rescue, a code we call it, where a person is being brought back to life. And the guy that was running the code, who was the chair of emergency medicine there, I'm this medical student standing outside the room. And he looked at me and pointed, said, come here. I came in and he said, start giving this guy CPR. So I started doing that. And then the person lived. They gave them medicines and did a bunch of other things. And I remember that one. And that was a long time ago. That was in 1992. So, dating myself. I think
Maybe before you were born.
I think we have maybe a little bit before you were born. I think, do we have one more? Or are we? Yeah.
What if like somebody say that somebody in your house collapsed, or they you just have an AED around today and nobody knows CPR yet, but say they were still breathing, that they were about to stop. What would you do?
Well, the funny thing is, at first they'll still breathe, but not totally normally. So sometimes when someone just has a cardiac arrest, you'll see them kind of struggling to breathe. So you'll try to wake them up, but they won't look right, and they're kind of breathing like a type thing. We call that agonal breathing is what that is. And a couple important things. One is that most of these cardiac arrests that are out of the hospital do happen in the house. About 70% happen in the home. And most people don't have an AED in their home, and they're expensive, and we don't expect the world to have AEDs in their home. But you can still do those first two really important things. Calling 911, and they're going to get there as fast as they can, and just pushing hard and fast on the center of their chest. so that the blood keeps circulating around until the ambulance people can get there, the paramedics, because that will keep the person alive. And should. It's not a guarantee, right? It's just going to increase their chance of survival. So again, the links of that chain of survival, get somebody coming there that's going to take them to the hospital, because that's where the person's going to have to go, and keep the blood going until that by hard and fast pushing on the center of the chest. And you all know the songs, right? Baby shark, doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo. You're pushing that speed, right? Or Crazy in Love, or Staying Alive for a different generation. So I think that probably brings the questions to the end, if that's,
Absolutely. Yeah.
So thanks again to everybody. Thanks to the school district and all the people that thought of this, and especially to you all for what you did, because it's going to make a difference, I guarantee you. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Stevens. Thank you, all of our community partners. Julian, anything left that we want to do? Picture?
We're gonna keep a few of our friends, but we're gonna send Miss Birmingham's class back
Perfect.
to class, and then we're gonna keep a few kiddos we have with us, and then we're gonna do some interviews and things in here, okay?
Awesome.